Using this Buick Enclave body shell, let's see a procedure for replacing a B-pillar that is layered underneath the structure of the roof. The vehicle maker has a sectioning procedure to avoid having to remove the roof when replacing the B-pillar reinforcement assembly. The first step in the repair is to remove the outer B-pillar. The procedure shows measuring 93 millimeters down from the top of the B-pillar and marking a cut line. The lower part of the B-pillar can be removed by making sectioning cuts based on personal preference or outer rocker panel damage in the door openings. Cut lines are marked with tape, and a pneumatic reciprocating saw is used to make the cuts. Care is used to ensure that the cuts do not damage any inner panels or reinforcements. Next, a spot weld drill is used to remove the spot welds from the flanges of the outer B-pillar. The depth of the drill is set so that it only drills through the weld on the outer panel. Additional spot welds are removed from the areas where the door hinges bolt to the vehicle and where the outer rocker is attached to inner reinforcements. An air chisel is used to carefully separate the outer B-pillar from the vehicle. A sharp putty knife is used to separate the lower part of the B-pillar from the NVH foam that is installed there, and the outer B-pillar is removed from the vehicle, exposing the inner reinforcement assembly. The service procedure calls for a sectioning cut to be made 20 millimeters below the bottom of the oval hole exposed at the top of the B-pillar reinforcement. The cut line is marked with tape, and the B-pillar reinforcement is cut with a cutoff wheel. A spot weld drill is used to drill through the welds along the flanges. There are two ultra-high strength reinforcements that are spot welded up the length of the B-pillar reinforcement assembly. They continue beyond where the sectioning cut was made. So the spot welds attaching the reinforcements to the portion of the B-pillar assembly that will remain are drilled through. An air chisel is used to carefully separate the reinforcement assembly from the vehicle. Once completely separated, it is removed from the vehicle. Next, the remaining pieces of the ultra-high strength reinforcements are removed from the upper portion of the reinforcement assembly remaining on the vehicle. The plate shown here is supplied already attached to the new B-pillar reinforcement assembly, so the spot welds attaching it are drilled out and the plate is removed from the vehicle. A small grinder is used to remove any remaining weld nuggets from the inner B-pillar and rocker panel inner reinforcement. Next, a plastic abrasive brush is used to remove the foam sealer from the rocker panel reinforcement. Weld-through primer is applied to all bare metal mating flanges and surfaces. The service part is supplied pre-cut, so it is clamped into position for a test fit. Notice that the ultra-high strength steel reinforcement fingers are slid up into the part of the reinforcement assembly that remains on the vehicle. With the part clamped in place, three-dimensional and comparative measuring is used to verify proper positioning of the part. Plug weld locations are marked on the part, and it is removed to prepare it for welding. The coatings are removed from the part in the plug weld areas and on the vehicle where necessary. Following the vehicle maker's recommendation, weld-through primer is applied to all bare metal in the mating flanges and sectioning locations on the vehicle and service part. The part is then repositioned on the vehicle, clamped in place, and rechecked for fit with the three-dimensional measuring. Practice welds are made and destructively tested before welding on the vehicle. GMA MIG plug welds are made through the holes drilled in the existing part of the reinforcement assembly and into the ultra-high strength reinforcement fingers on the top of the service part. The sectioning joint is welded solid using 25 millimeter stitch weld to lessen the heat input. The bottom of the reinforcement assembly is attached to the rocker panel reinforcement using GMA MIG plug weld. A plastic abrasive brush is used to remove the weld-through primer from the immediate weld zone. After making practice welds to verify the correct settings, the plug welds are made on the vehicle. Spot weld locations are marked next to the original weld locations on the flanges of the part, and the plastic abrasive brush is used to remove coatings from these locations on both the replacement part and the vehicle. An inverter-type, squeeze-type resistance welder is used to make the spot welds for the reinforcement assembly. Next, the plug welds and stitch welds at the sectioning joint are dressed. Weld-through primer is applied to any bare metal on the mating flanges where the outer B-pillar will be welded, and corrosion-resistant epoxy primer is applied to the sectioning joint before it is covered with the outer B-pillar. To complete the repair, the outer B-pillar service part is cut and prepared for welding, as are the flanges on the vehicle. NVH foam is installed in the areas where it was removed. Next, the outer B-pillar is clamped in place and welded using butt joint with backing welds at the sectioning joints. Plug welds are made along the middle of the rocker panel and spot welds at the remaining flanges. The sectioning joint is prepared for priming and refinishing, and the application of corrosion protection materials will finish the repair.